Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, what if the most profound wisdom, the kind that really unlocks the nature of reality, wasn't found through years of complex rituals or endless study?
Or like spiritual gymnastics.
Exactly. What if there was a path that was incredibly direct, maybe even surprisingly simple? Like, imagine a shortcut to understanding reality itself right here, right now.
That's a really compelling idea, isn't it? Especially today when we're often told that, more complexity, more steps, more effort, that equals more reward.
Right.
So the idea of a direct path, it really cuts against that grain, offers a different kind of insight.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're plunging into today. We're taking a deep dive into the fascinating world of Mahamudra. It's a unique spiritual tradition within Buddhism. And this isn't just some ancient philosophy locked away in books. It's a living, breathing path to profound realization. It's actually transformed countless lives.
It really has.
So our mission for this deep dive is basically to unpack its essence, understand how it relates to, and sometimes, delightfully differs from the Sutra and Tantra traditions.
And explore the lineage too, right? Those who mastered it.
Exactly. And explore that inspiring lineage. So, get ready to maybe rethink some assumptions.
Okay. And our sources for this, they're really rich. We've pulled together excerpts from Dumis, but also insights from those ancient songs of realization.
Oh, yeah, those spontaneous poems from the masters.
Those are the ones. Spontaneous outpourings of wisdom. And of course, the works of legendary figures who actually walk this path themselves.
Okay, let's unpack this then. When we talk about Mahamudra, where does it sit? We're generally placing it within Vajrayana Buddhism, right?
Yeah, that's the usual context. Vajrayana, that branch known for its, well, sometimes esoteric practices and this emphasis on rapid enlightenment.
And Vajrayana itself has different paths, doesn't it? Tailored for different people, different capacities.
That's right. Our sources mention things like the path of blessing, the path of inner calming, and the path of determining reality. Different strokes for different folks, essentially.
Okay, so initially, how is Mahamudra viewed within that?
Well, initially, in a lot of traditional teachings, Mahamudra is positioned as the highest practice of Tantra.
Ah, okay, so interconnected.
Yeah, it implies a certain link, suggesting you might need, the right tantric initiations, permissions, that sort of thing, to practice it properly.
But here's where it gets really interesting, right? Where Mahamudra takes this, I don't know, almost rebellious turn. Did someone influential challenge that? Suggest a more direct way?
Oh, dramatically so, yeah. Enter the great Master Saraha. He offered a distinctly different perspective, one that just cut straight to the chase.
Okay, tell me more.
What's fascinating is his radical assertion. He said, and I'm paraphrasing the translation here, Mahamudra is supreme. It is the essence of all paths. Mahamudra is the state of attaining the fruit, which is always present in all existence.
Always present. So not something you create, but something you find.
Exactly. It suggests a realization that isn't external. It's inherent, always within us, just waiting to be, uncovered.
Wow. And he didn't stop there, did he? He challenged the actual practices.
He really did. He famously said something like, for the practice of Mahamudra, there is no need to visualize a mandala, perform ritual offerings, repeat a mantra, or show mudras.
No rituals, no mantras. That's huge.
It is. He declared very directly, Mahamudra is unconditioned by sutras or tantras. Mahamudra is the realization of self-arisen, unchanging wisdom. Self-arisen, unchanging.
It makes you think. He even had that almost funny quote, didn't he, about the candles?
Yeah, that memorable question, almost with a touch of playful exasperation. What good is lighting candles and oil lamps? What's the point of visualizing deities? What benefit from all these tantra practices if one has found peace in the true nature of one's own mind? This is Mahamudra.
Aha, yeah. It's such a direct way to point to the ultimate goal, isn't it?
It really is. Makes you think, where should we really put our effort?
Totally. It's like, why bother with all the elaborate stage setup if the main event is happening right inside you already? But okay, just to be clear, was Sarah saying Mahamud conflicts with Tantra? Or just that it works differently?
Good question. He was clarifying it doesn't conflict with Tantra, especially if tantric practices like, say, karma mudra initiation, which is a pretty powerful tantric thing for accelerating progress.
Right.
If those serve as a support for Mahamudra realization.
Right.
But they remain distinct paths. Mahamudra doesn't really engage in transforming the three poisons, desire, anger, ignorance.
The classic ones.
Yeah, or the four joys of Tantra, which are these specific ecstatic experiences used in advanced tantric practice. Mahamudra's approach is different.
So if I'm getting this right, Mahamudra shifts the focus. It's less about active transformation, more about direct perception.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so what does this mean for, our listener, someone who might be feeling a bit overwhelmed by complex spiritual paths or endless self-improvement stuff?
Well, it suggests this profound directness, a way to cut through all that complexity and find an essential truth that might be way simpler than you ever thought possible.
That sounds liberating.
It really is.
Yeah.
What if the ultimate goal isn't something you do, but something you simply realize?
Okay. To help us clarify these different approaches even more and really kind of nail down the differences, let's bring in another key figure, Gampopa.
Hmm?
He offers this really helpful framework, right? 3 paths to reality.
Yes, Gampopa's framework is super clear. His first categorization outlines 1. Sutra.
Which is like the foundational teachings.
Exactly. The path of logical justification, analytical meditation, really focusing on understanding that things don't exist independently, using reason to kind of dismantle our fixed ideas about reality.
Got it. Path 1, Sutra analytical. What's 2?
2 is Tantra, the vehicle emphasizing rapid transformation through, well, sometimes esoteric practices.
Right.
It's the path of blessing, deity visualization, balancing energies with various yogic methods. It's very active engagement, transformation.
Okay. Sutra, analysis, Tantra, transformation. And number 3?
Number 3 is the direct path, Mahamudra. This involves directly perceiving the natural state of everything, determining true reality without needing intermediaries.
Directly perceiving.
Yeah, he calls it the path that determines true reality, precisely because it's about that direct apprehension, no filters.
Okay. And he then goes into more detail, right, about the how of each path. This is where the differences really pop.
Absolutely. For the Sutra tradition, he talks about the path of renunciation, using analysis to figure out what helps and what harms, then applying specific antidotes to get rid of disturbing emotions.
Like a doctor prescribing medicine for an illness.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's the path of transformation for Tantra. Instead of suppressing or renouncing emotions, you transform them.
How does that work?
Well, it means bringing defilements and disturbing emotional states onto the path by, for instance, transforming them into the image of a visualized deity, using concepts, like the deity's pure form, to ultimately realize non-conceptual wisdom.
So using the problem to find the solution, in a way.
Exactly. It's a clever way of using the very things that usually bind us to actually liberate us.
Okay. And finally, Gampopa describes the path of Mahamudra. And this is the really unique one.
This is the really unique one. He says it does not involve using any techniques related to renunciation or transformation. Why? Because the very idea that something needs to be renounced or transformed, it just doesn't arise.
Whoa. So no fixing needed.
It's a completely different paradigm. Practitioners on this path, they perceive the single taste of what needs to be eliminated and the techniques used for elimination.
It's a single taste, meaning they see it all as the same nature.
Precisely. So the key is to abandon the very concept of eliminating anything and just perceive everything that arises in the stream of consciousness as its creation.
That is radical. Instead of fixing, changing, getting rid of stuff, you just watch it as it is.
You got it. And the only method Gampopa highlights for Mahamudra is this: to leave the mind as is and allow it to abide in this natural state. This is the only method used in the Mahamudra tradition.
Leave the mind as is.
Yeah. And he says such meditation leads to the spontaneous realization of Mahamudra.
Wow. Okay, this is a huge concept because for so many of us, the idea of not trying to change things, especially our own minds, feels wrong, almost counterintuitive. What's the biggest hurdle people hit when they first hear this simple yet radical idea?
That's a great question. Often the initial hurdle is just our deeply ingrained habit of constantly doing something, trying to fix, improve, control.
Yeah, the must-do-something reflex.
Exactly. We believe effort, active effort, is always the answer. Mahamudra suggests a different kind of effort. It's an effort of, non-doing, of simply allowing. And that really challenges our active, analytical minds.
It really makes you think how much energy we pour into controlling our inner world. I know I've spent years trying to fix my mind, only to sometimes feel, even more tangled up. It happens.
So Mahamudra is often considered suitable for those with higher abilities. How does that connect back to the other paths?
Right. Traditionally, these paths are often matched to different capacities. Sutra for, say, limited abilities, Tantra for medium, Mahamudra for higher. but it's really important to add that nowadays.
Yeah.
Mahamudra is often practiced alongside tantric preliminary practices, things to prepare the mind, which is actually a wonderful way to make it more accessible, more effective for a much wider range of people.
That makes sense. Kind of building a foundation.
Uh,
Okay, so we've talked about these distinct paths, but here's something really crucial. Underneath it all, don't all of Buddha's teachings, Sutra, Tantra, share one ultimate purpose?
Absolutely. That's the common thread. It's to bring the practitioner to the realization of the true nature of all phenomena.
Emptiness. Reality itself.
Exactly. Call it what you will. And what's fascinating is that even with countless techniques out there, simple to complex, they're all just skillful tools designed to help us understand reality. Tools, not the destination itself. I like that. It's inspiring when you hear quotes like, all of Buddha's teachings lead us to the realization of reality. They bring this reality into our consciousness.
Yeah. And Atisha's remark really drives it home, doesn't it? 84,000 teachings of the Sutra and Tantra sections are intended for one thing only, to show us reality. Other than the teachings on empty reality, no other teachings exist.
It's all pointing the same way.
It really underscores that the path isn't the endpoint. The tools guide us, but they aren't the ultimate truth itself. You see this in the Sutra tradition, for instance. The emphasis is on listening, reflecting, and practicing the 6 paramitas.
Right, the 6 transcendent virtues,
Yeah.
like generosity, discipline.
And the definitions themselves are quite profound, focused on the mind. Like not allowing dualistic ideas to spread, that is generosity, or not engaging in complicated thinking, that is moral discipline.
So it's about your mental state, your intention, not just giving money or following rules externally.
Precisely. And Tantra, in turn, has its 2 stages. Generation, which is conceptual, using visualization.
Building it up in the mind.
Yeah. And then completion, which is non-conceptual. And the ultimate aim is always to master that non-conceptual stage, direct experience.
And there's that great analogy for this, right, about crossing the river, from the Tantra of the indestructible Dakini.
Oh yeah, the boat analogy. It's perfect. We may need certain methods and techniques, but only up to a certain point. Afterwards, we should abandon their use and learn to remain natural. This is like crossing a river and moving on our way, leaving the boat on the shore.
You don't carry the boat with you once you've crossed. So obvious, yet. What are some common boats people cling to in their practice, even after they've kind of reached the other side conceptually?
That's a fantastic way to phrase it. Common boats. People often cling to the methods themselves, maybe rigid daily routines they can't deviate from, specific mantras they feel they must do, or even just their intellectual understanding about a teaching rather than the direct experience.
Right, the intellectual boat.
Exactly. And while those things are invaluable for building discipline, focus, all that, the boat becomes a hindrance if you can't actually step out onto the shore of direct experience. Like Vajrayana says, we need conceptual understanding first to untangle things.
Like karma.
Yeah, karmic traces. But then we have to gradually free ourselves from those very concepts we created to help us.
Okay, this leads us to a really crucial point about Mahamudra, doesn't it? That whatever practice we undertake, it is very important to approach it from the perspective of Mahamudra.
Yes. This open, all-encompassing view should ideally accompany all Sutra and Tantra practices.
It's like having a compass that always points toward the true nature of the mind, regardless of which specific path you're walking on at that moment.
Perfectly put.
Yeah.
And this is where masters like Saraha and Tilopa give some pretty stark warnings.
Oh, yeah.
They basically assert that even being an expert in sutras and tantras, or sticking perfectly to monastic rules, none of that will bring benefit if you don't actually strive to understand the nature of the mind itself.
Wow. So knowledge and discipline aren't enough on their own.
Not if they don't lead to that core understanding. It really motivates us to look deeper, you know, beyond the form, right to the essence, to make sure our practices lead to genuine insight, not just like intellectual collecting.
That's a powerful call to action, isn't it? Go beyond the surface, seek that fundamental understanding, and the promise attached to Mahamudra is, well, pretty extraordinary.
It is. If you practice Mahamudra and achieve the fruits of meditation, you will attain full enlightenment in this very life.
In this life.
Or for really persistent yogins, maybe within 3 years and 3 months.
Yeah.
Talk about motivation.
Seriously. Okay, so these aren't just abstract ideas or philosophical concepts. They've been realized, lived, by this incredible lineage of masters.
Exactly. And it's truly inspiring to see how these teachings passed down through generations of these extraordinary individuals, each one with their own story of dedication, insight, enlightenment.
Let's talk about some of them. From India, we have Saraha, right? The first great realized master of this lineage.
Yeah, Saraha. He received what's called the lineage of instant realization, and then spread it through his powerful songs of realization, those poems we mentioned. He really sparked a revolution in how people approached practice.
And the lineage continued from him.
Oh, yes. It flowed through brilliant minds, incredibly dedicated practitioners. You have figures like Tilopa, legendary figure, said to be a reincarnation of Chakrasamvara. Even heard direct explanations from Vajrayana, the primordial Buddha, in an illusory form.
Wow. Direct from the source.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And he taught, apparently, hundreds of thousands of students in a place called Zahor. The texts say they all entered the land of the Dakinis, these wisdom beings leaving the whole city empty.
An entire city achieving realization. That's mind-blowing.
Isn't it? And then there's Naropa, who followed Tilopa. He was this brilliant scholar, but he still underwent 12 harsh trials under Tilopa, really testing his command.
12 harsh trials.
Yeah. But he received the complete transmission, the texts say, as if water was poured from one vessel to another, just a complete transfer. And he, too, brought countless students to realization and eventually attained the rainbow body.
The rainbow body, where the physical body dissolves into light.
That's the one, a sign of complete liberation. Their stories are just incredible examples of unwavering commitment and the sheer power of direct, heart-to-heart instruction.
And then this wisdom traveled, right, across the mountains to Tibet.
Yes, to the land of snows, largely thanks to dedicated figures like Marpa the translator. He made 3 incredibly arduous journeys to India, studied diligently with Naropa and another master, Maitripa.
3 journeys back then must have been epic.
Unimaginable, really. But he resolved all his doubts, became a highly realized master himself, and carried these profound teachings back across the Himalayas.
And Marpa's most famous student, Milarepa.
Milarepa. His story is just the ultimate example of dedication, asceticism. He endured, well, the most difficult and dangerous commands from Marpa, lived an extremely ascetic lifestyle.
Famously lived in caves, wore only cotton.
Exactly. But he became one of Tibet's most famous mystics.
Yeah.
Inspired, and still inspires, countless people. His unwavering commitment, especially facing such immense hardship, is just a really powerful testament to the path. Truly motivating.
Definitely. And then, after Milarepa, came Gampopa. And he played a key role in making Mahamudra more accessible.
Huge role. Moved by what the texts call boundless compassion, Gampopa established Mahamudra as a standalone practice tradition, not just hidden within Tantra, but something people could approach more directly. He made it accessible to many.
And there were prophecies about him, weren't there?
Yes. Apparently, Buddha himself prophesied that a bodhisattva, an enlightened being helping others, named Chandaprabha, who was Gampopa's previous incarnation, that he would preserve the Dharma, the teachings, during times of decline, and that he'd teach 500 students and eventually become a Buddha himself.
Wow. And did similar prophecies link him specifically to Tibet?
They did. Similar prophecies linked Gampopa to a figure named Jivaka and his 500 students, specifically in the snowy lands north of Bodh Gaya, pointing right at Tibet, spreading this profound wisdom there.
And did it happen?
Well, true to the prophecies, Gampopa and his 500 students practiced Mahamudra up in the Dogpo Gampo Mountains. This led to the fame of the Dogpo Kagyu school, a major lineage that stems from him. And his 800 bodhisattva students and their students kept spreading the teachings.
It's amazing. The sources say their fame, amplified by the echo of the mountains of the land of snows, shook the whole world.
Gives you chills, doesn't it?
It really does. Imagine a spiritual awakening so profound it just resonates across continents like that.
And what it shows us, I think, is that even in times we might see as degenerate or difficult, it's still possible. People can completely renounce attachments, dedicate themselves entirely to practice,
and achieve liberation.
And achieve complete liberation. Their lives really stand as powerful encouragement for all of us. It's possible.
So we've explored Mahamudra's unique path, really looked at its radical directness compared to maybe more gradual traditions like Sutra or the transformative path of Tantra. And we've touched on the incredible journeys of the masters who walked this path.
Yeah, it's a tradition that truly emphasizes recognizing the inherent nature of your own mind and that potential for spontaneous realization, just seeing things as they are.
So thinking back on all this, What stands out most to you, the listener, from this deep dive into Mahamudra? Is it maybe the idea of cutting through all the complexity?
Or the power of just leaving the mind as it is, letting be?
Or maybe it's the sheer determination and the just inspiring legacy of these masters like Milarepa or Saraha.
Yeah, lots to chew on there.
And our source material, it concludes by saying this kind of explanation helps gain confidence in practice. So here's a final thought to maybe mull over. What does it truly mean to gain confidence? Not just confidence in a technique or a teacher or a set of rules, but confidence in the inherent unconditioned nature of your own mind. How might recognizing that kind of confidence actually shift your approach to the challenges, the fears, the aspirations you face in your daily life?